Here is an introduction to the topic of cryptocurrency liquidity pool investing. Let's start with an introduction to liquidity. In the physical world, the word liquid refers to something that is fluid and flows freely and easily. In financial terms, the word liquid is also used to describe a financial asset that is easily accessible and that flows freely in the financial markets, allowing for efficient buying and selling transactions with minimal disturbance or delay. Liquidity refers to the efficiency or ease with which a financial asset's value can be realized. To be considered liquid, a financial instrument must be readily available and be easily and quickly converted into cash or exchanged for another asset. By this definition, cash money in the form of coins or bills is considered to have the highest degree of liquidity, as it can readily, easily, and quickly be exchanged for goods or services or traded for other financial assets. By contrast, some assets like real estate, IRA accounts, and business ownership are considered to be highly illiquid because of the difficulty and delay involved in exchanging or selling them. In the world of cryptocurrencies, decentralized exchanges, DEXes, rely heavily on liquidity to facilitate the transfer and exchange of one coin or token for another. For a DEX, liquidity involves having an adequate supply of a coin or token readily available, liquid, so that it can be quickly and easily exchanged for another coin or token or converted into cash. Say, for example, someone wants to trade Tether, USDT, for Binance Coin, BNB. They employ the service of a DEX to make the exchange. If the DEX has enough BNB available to cover the trade, the transaction is made quickly and easily. In this case, the DEX has sufficient liquidity to enable the trade. The customer pays a small fee to the DEX for facilitating the transaction. Trading, exchanging, and converting cryptocurrencies is a bustling marketplace. There are currently over 24,000 different crypto coins and tokens in the market with total value exceeding $1 trillion. There are over 300 DEXes in the cryptocurrency space. These DEXes facilitate around 2.5 million exchange transactions per day and generate $1.5 to $1.8 billion in fees per day. This is why it is so important for DEXes to maintain a high level of liquidity in any coin or token for which they offer trades. If a DEX is low in liquidity, meaning they don't have enough of a particular coin or token readily available, the customer's exchange cannot be completed. In this case, an error message typically appears stating, "Insufficient liquidity available." The customer must delay their transaction or employ a different DEX to facilitate their transaction. In this case, the DEX receives no fee because no service was provided. It is impractical for any DEX to maintain an adequate liquid supply of all of the coins or tokens traded on their exchange without the help of liquidity providers. Liquidity providers are individuals or entities that deposit their cryptocurrency tokens into liquidity pools on DEXes. This presents a lucrative investment opportunity for crypto investors willing to participate in these pools. Crypto coins and tokens deposited by liquidity providers are pooled together and can be referred to as liquidity reserves or liquidity pools. The term pool is commonly used because it represents the pooling together of assets into a smart contract representing a common or collective reserve. Different platforms or protocols may use their own terminology to refer to liquidity pools. For example, some platforms may use terms like liquidity vault, liquidity pool vault, or liquidity aggregation to describe their specific implementation of liquidity pooling. These pools act as reserves from which trades can be executed. In exchange for these deposits, liquidity providers are rewarded by receiving a portion of the trading and transaction fees paid by customers to the DEX. The amount of yield generated by these pools depends on many factors including trading volume, demand, available liquidity and other factors. The higher the trading volume and fees generated by the DEX, the greater the potential yield for you, the liquidity provider. To encourage pool deposits, DEXes also may offer additional incentives to liquidity providers in the form of additional coins and tokens. If a particular DEX wants to offer exchanges between two coins, they will establish a liquidity pair and invite investors to make deposits into a pool made up of this pair of coins. The term pair typically refers to a trading pair consisting of two assets. In our previous example of Tether and Binance Coin, the liquidity pair would be USDT, BNB. By having a liquid supply of both coins, the DEX can facilitate exchanges between the pair, USDT for BNB or BNB for USDT. Some liquidity pools are made up of more than two coins. A liquidity pool of 3 coins is sometimes called a liquidity trio, or tri-crypto, and one consisting of 4 coins may be called a liquidity quartet. These multi-coin pools can provide more liquidity for users who want to trade between 3 or 4 different coins. So, here's how to get started with liquidity pool investing. The first step is to discover which tokens you have available and which liquidity pairs you want to invest in. This will take some time and research, as there are literally hundreds of possibilities. To find liquidity pool information, here are 3 common methods investors use. 1. Explore DEX websites. Decentralized exchanges, such as Uniswap, SushiSwap, and QuickSwap, have their own websites that provide detailed information about liquidity pools. You can visit these platforms and navigate to the respective pool sections to explore their available pools. Typically, you'll find information about the tokens in the pool, the current liquidity, trading volumes, fees, the value of assets locked in the pool, the expected return, and other relevant metrics. The top 5 decentralized exchanges, DEXes, in terms of fees generated in the past 30 days are Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, Curve Finance, Balancer. The second way to discover LP opportunities is to visit various third-party DeFi analytics platforms that aggregate and display information about liquidity pools across multiple decentralized exchanges. Examples of such platforms include Nanoly, DeFi Llama, DexTools, and CoinGecko. These platforms offer search and filtering options, allowing you to discover and compare liquidity pools based on various criteria such as total value locked, TVL, trading volume, and returns. The third way to find potential liquidity pairs is to use yield farming dashboards or yield aggregators like Yearn Finance, Harvest Finance, and Zapper.fi. These platforms can provide insights into liquidity pools. They often include features to monitor and manage various yield farming strategies. They allow you to view and interact with different liquidity pools, check historical performance, and even provide tools for automatically optimizing your yields across multiple pools. When choosing a liquidity pair to invest in, here are a few factors you should consider. 1. The trading volume of the pair. The higher the trading volume, the more liquid the pair is, and the easier it will be to buy and sell your tokens. 2. The rate of return or yield the pair is producing. This is usually stated as an annual percentage rate, APR, or, in some cases as annual percentage yield, APY. APRs can range from less than 1% to as high as 300% or more. Typically, liquidity pairs with the highest APR carry the highest degree of risk. 3. The volatility of the pair. Generally, the more wildly the tokens in ELP fluctuate in value, the more potential for profit and higher yields there is. Stable assets typically pay lower APRs than volatile assets. 4. The fees charged by the DEX. Different DEXes charge different fees, so it's important to compare them before you choose one. Also be sure to consider the blockchain's transaction, gas, fees, as different chains charge wildly varying rates. 5. The security of the DEX. Make sure the DEX you choose is secure and has a good reputation. Once you've considered these factors, you can start to narrow down your choices. It's a good idea to do some research on the different pairs and look at reviews from other users before you make a decision. Here are some additional tips for choosing a liquidity pair to invest in. Invest in pairs that you are familiar with. This will help you to understand the risks involved and make informed decisions about when to buy and sell. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. The cryptocurrency market is volatile, and there is always the risk of losing money. Diversify your portfolio. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. By investing in a variety of liquidity pairs, you can reduce your risk. By following these tips, you can increase your chances of success when investing in liquidity pairs. That concludes today's introduction to liquidity pool investing. In part 2 of this series, we will cover more advanced topics such as impermanent, or divergent, loss, directional exposure, concentrated liquidity, and tracking your investments. Finally, we will do a deep dive into the practical steps you can take advantage of the potentially lucrative world of liquidity pools.